Boom to the hay, all you sports fans out there in the two-bow-sphere. To you, the individual, as part of the collective. Welcome to Fast Track Sports Rack, highlights here on talk radio version of the OMSR. I'm your brief but very concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. I always do a little voiceover show like this, let you know the clip order coming up and the wise to wherefore. So, briefly and concisely, Yankees Tanaka and his elbow on the DL. Some interesting statistics as to why that probably is. Dodgers and Detroit keep a pace with each other record-wise, and Max Scherzer's wicked slider. A's and Giants still battling on out with each other in their division. Braves and the Mets. Mets looking more competitive this year than last year. And then the Phillies and Brewers. So the quickie sport rants of the segment is going to be about how it sounded like further separation from only like a couple of weeks ago. The parity has closed the gap. In the meantime, roll clip.
Great to have you with us here on Baseball Tonight. Another day in paradise when you're hanging out with Eduardo Perez and Dallas Braden. It's great to have you with us. Some insight from both these guys. Eduardo going to talk about tipping pitches later in the show. And, of course, Dallas' excellence when it comes to Max Scherzer and the beauty of his slider. But we begin, guys, with the hot news about Masahiro Tanaka. Been so phenomenal this season for the Yankees. Began 11-1 with a sub-2 ERA. But lately he's been wobbly. 1-3, 4.25 ERA. And now placing the 15-day disabled list with elbow inflammation. He'll undergo MRI and will fly to Seattle to meet with Dr. Christopher Ahmed and try and get the latest on what is ailing the Yankees ace. You take a look at his workload. He's only 25 years old, but he's racked up plenty of innings on that arm as a professional. After starting in Japan for several years, only 4 active pitchers have thrown more innings as a pro through their age 25 season. Tanaka is 4th in the majors in innings pitched per start this year, ranked just ahead of King Felix and Yu Darvish. You look at Tanaka's season in its totality, Dallas, and now this setback. What do you think is the biggest reason why he needs some time off?
When you look at those other guys and the workloads that they've been saddled with, and those are frontline guys, and that's what you expect out of Tanaka. That's what he's become. It's not necessarily about the workload for him. It's adjusting to the rest period or the lack thereof. He's used to 6 or 7 days off in Japan. Here stateside, you get 4, maybe 5, depending on how the rotation shapes up. So again, not necessarily the workload. It's the days and the lack of rest in between right now that's nipping at his heels.
And one interesting note was I spoke with Aki Sasaki, which is the general manager of the Rakuten Golden Eagles, where Tanaka played in Japan. And it was interesting that he told me, listen, this guy's not used to throwing 4 and 5 days rest. He's used to throwing in those 6 and 7 days rest. And the other interesting thing was, he said about the slider. He said he threw it a lot in Japan and the fastball, but not the split finger. So far this season, 25% of his pitches and the get out pitches that split finger.
Yeah.
That's just way too much stress on that elbow. Put together with everything else, it doesn't surprise Aki at all that he's having a little inflammation problems there.
Yeah, we heard from the beginning that split finger fastball could be the best in the game. So the fact he's using it so much perhaps went to the well a little too often. We'll update you the latest. The Dodgers and the Tigers, and Max Scherzer's on the hill. Top of the first, 1 out. Yasiel Puig will triple to the right center field gap.
Puig does a great job, again, of extending his arms. This is a guy who's extremely strong and powerful. He will swing at anything relatively at any time, but you love the hustle here. Leadoff guy, extending it, getting the third safely.
Then Haley Ramirez to short, and Eugenio Suarez throws a third to get Puig.
Great heads-up play. That is scouting report at its best, knowing the aggressiveness of Puig at third base, taking advantage of it and using it.
Zach Greinke's pitch line to the right center field gap by Austin Jackson at the bottom of the first. That's a triple.
See, a lot of outfielders having problems picking the ball up in the warning track. Look at the ball, press it down, and then throw it on in.
And then Greinke's breaking ball hangs up in the zone. Ian Kinsler RBI single. Tigers scored 2 in the inning. They're up 2-0. Greinke went 7 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 8 Ks. Scherzer looked good here.
Yeah, you take a look at that. You take a look at that slider making an all-star hitter, and Matt Kemp looked very, very foolish there. And then you take a look at Uribe getting him to roll over on that ground ball. When you've got the fastball that Max Scherzer has in his back pocket, you can dial up this breaking ball here, and it really, really works to your benefit. And we know about his ability to pitch up in the zone with that fastball as well.
Top of the 6th, Tigers up 3-1. It'll be Puig doubling to left on a 1-2 off-speed pitch to lead off the inning.
He's got so much plate coverage. I mean, it's just, he can go the other way with power. This time, he gets fooled a little bit, but steadies and keeps the bat head in the zone long enough for the double.
Ramirez strikes out swinging 94-mile-an-hour fastball to Adrian Gonzalez. Grounds up to second. Puig goes to third on the play, so there's 2 away. The next batter will be Kemp. He goes to the swinging again.
Again, there's that slider. Taking a look at the hitters before him. Might have been sitting fastball. Tremendous job by Scherzer to expand the zone.
Matt Kemp 0 for 21 versus Scherzer in his career after Wednesday's game. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. And Scherzer talking about that slider.
I didn't have my best stuff early. My slider in the first inning quite wasn't there yet, and then I made an adjustment after the first inning, and that pitch was huge for me today. They were a very heavy right-hand lineup, and I was able to use my slider throughout the rest of the game, and I felt like that helped keep them off balance.
Other than the fastball, really the slider was the key pitch. You know, he had a lot of swings and misses, a lot of bad swings on his slider, which tells me that the rotation was tight and/or it was in a good location.
I did some good things today. I made some big pitches when I needed to, and I always did a great job behind the plate today of sequencing with me and sticking with the game plan, and also blocking some pitches too.
Scherzer improves to 7-1 in 9 home starts this season, and on June 17th against the Royals, he tied his career high by allowing 10 earned in just 4 innings. The Tigers were reeling, having lost 11 of 16. Since then, he's been lights out, and the Tigers have won all 4 of his starts. The Giants looking to gain ground on the Dodgers. Jason Hamill making his A's debut. Bottom of the second will be Joe Panic. Will Panic at the Frisco. Line drive and a hit and run to left. Gregor Blanco. Hey, Gregor, like John Shambi would say. Round second, heads for third. Yoenis Cespedes bobbles the ball.
See a lot of bobbling of the baseball with Yoenis Cespedes. He has a gun. He sometimes wants to rush that throw. Make sure you get it and make a nice bullet throw to the plate or to third base.
Bottom of the fourth, Hunter Pence, 12th home run.
Pence has been a tremendous addition since he's come over to San Francisco. He's helped lengthen that lineup out. He's done a great job in the middle of that order.
Strange moment in the bottom of the 5th. Blanco fouls off a pitch from Hamill after throwing the pitch. Hamill takes off his glove. Trainers come out to check on him. Appears to have a cramp in the thumb of his non-throwing arm.
Gotta hydrate, son. It happens. Sometimes, fortunately, it is on the non-throwing thumb.
Hamill was not dominant in his debut. 5 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits. Top of 6. Hayes down 3-2. 2 on, 2 out. Matt Cain will get Derek Norris grounding into a fielder's choice. So that ends the threat. Bottom half of the 6th. 2 on, 1 out. Pence. Grounder up the middle off the glove of Alberto Casco for a base hit. Panic scores. The Giants up 4-2.
Well, with Angel Pagan out, they stuck Hunter Pence today in the leadoff spot, and it's starting to pay off.
All-star Hunter Pence. We'll see him in Minnesota next week. Right now, the Giants are up 5-2 in the bottom east. Bobby Abreu and the Mets are playing the Braves. Bottom is 7, tied at 1. Runner on third. Abreu checking a swing on the Urban Santana pitch. He thinks it's ball 4, but the third base umpire calls it a strike, and Abreu's in disbelief.
Come on, Mike. You're at third base. Bobby Abreu will let you know when he goes. Right here, there is no chance he's going there. Mike Everett at third base wants to stare down now. This is what I like.
Yeah, this time it's not a strike, but he stares him down, and the ump's not backing out. I see it.
They go long ways. They understand each other.
But Santana finds it amusing.
Absolutely. Hey, you'll take the strikeout anytime you can get it if they're willing to give it to you.
2 batters later, Mets up 2 on. That's Travis d'Arnaud. 6th home run.
163 average against the breaking pitch. Right there, 1-1 count. Took advantage of the scouting report. He said, I'm hitting this one.
They need to run through the towel gauntlet. Top of the 9th, Henry Mejia throwing a pitch in the dirt to Tommy LaStella. This is with the Braves down 4-1, 2 on, 2 out. It's behind d'Arnaud.
You got to get in front of that ball. That's lackadaisical right there. Like this one right here. Get in front of it, block it. Don't try to catch it.
Mejia ecstatic. Mets win their 4th straight game 4-1. First time they did that since July of 2013. Elsewhere in the NL East, there's the Phillies facing Ryan Braun. The Brewers. Braun's out due to back spasms. Top the 1st. Chase Utley off Kyle Loesch, 8th home run.
Nothing new. You try to come inside on Chase Utley. He's got short, quick hands. He will keep that baseball fair and with some power.
Utley's going to the All-Star game. He'll be starting at 2nd. Top of 6th, tied at 1. Loesch, breaking ball over the plate. Jimmy Rollins makes him pay.
Yeah, you saw Utley just beat him to a spot that a bat before, but here Rollins takes advantage of a spinning breaking ball up in the middle, not much downward bite on it, and he does his job.
That would be all the help that Roberto Hernandez needed as he gets Carlos Gomez here.
The artist formerly known as Fausto looking dirty with that cambio down in the zone, being able to expand against a tremendously aggressive hitter in Gomez.
Gene Segura as well, 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 3 Ks. He was masterful as the Phillies win it 4-1.
All right. Some good stuff going on there. Excuse me. Yeah, you'd think Tanaka being only 25, he's not playing that much more than Japan based on those statistics. I don't know, does weightlifting a lot help a pitcher? Because how many buff big pitchers have you ever seen play baseball, right? I mean, I can't think of it. Quickie sport rant. So you notice those standings at the beginning? Baseball tonight. By the way, I wholeheartedly recommend you watch it in full when you can, because it gives you a great rundown. It's impossible to watch even your own favorite ball club every day or every other day, with a stretch in between, you know, the everydayers, let alone all the others. They do a fantastic job. It's one of their ESPN's platform flagship shows. But if you miss it, you can always come to the OMSR. It's a good alternative, hence the moniker I've given myself. Try to break it down in certain parts. Can't borrow too much from any one source. The OMSR is sponsored by the DMCA. But with regard to back to the parity closing the gap, you had like Toronto way out in front. I'm talking back in like week 11, week 10. That's why that's another reason to watch the OMSR, because you can come back and see like the evolution of clubs throughout the year. Or if you break it down into thirds, the starting point, a couple weeks in, midpoint, at this point through the season, and how is it going to look for who's into the playoffs and who's going to have to duke it out. But as far as like the A's and the Giants and the Dodgers, been more on a losing streak than a winning streak the last couple of weeks. You still see the A's out there and the Brewers out there, but Toronto was the most surprising because they had the best record a couple weeks ago. I remember them stating that clearly. Best record in baseball. That's baseball for you. Ebb and flow and all that. Alright. I think that probably covers it. At this point, I kind of assume I'm just talking to air. Maybe some of my subs might be interested in the talk radio version. Having been a catcher in baseball, I am qualified to speak to the sport somewhat, but you know, never past like the junior high level. I went more for basketball and baseball. Not baseball. Basketball and football. How the hell can you confuse those two? Well, anywho, all the video highlights courtesy to MLB vis-a-vis baseball tonight on ESPN. Everything else to the OMSR. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. No silly DUIs while you're out there celebrating what's left of summer sports prior to the end of August, and y'all know what I mean by that. We are later out here.